Yes, I'm going to present the article that I have been written with the co-workers from the Bernburg facilities, Judith Gebauer, and from the Hebrew University, Esther, Rachow, and my supervisor from SDU, Stefan Jänicke. And we have been writing this article about taking this 3D model and how to use it for educational purposes. I would just want to say that we work within this European project called Memorize, which aims to collect and convey memories of the national. Sorry? Nothing? Okay. And we want to convey memories of the heritage of Nazi persecution. And I just want to show you a little bit of the 3D model we created, me and a study partner, and we, Mark Walter. And just so you know what I am talking about when I say the 3D model, I just want to take a short, through a short video of the model. Perhaps it will start. Yes. Yes. And it's from the Memorize web page, which I, of course, think you should go look at. And this is model that we created here. This is from the Bernburg facilities. I will tell you about that in a moment. There's a sound bit there, which I took off, and I didn't show this so you don't have to read the annotations. It's just so you can quick have a look at what I refer to when I say the 3D model. And these are LiDAR scanned, and I will also explain what that is. And it's just so we are on the same page when I say 3D model. And oh, these are not aligned. This is confusing. Yes, but first I want to tell you about the history behind the Euthanasia Center in Bernburg. And it was during World War II when the Nazis were in Germany, and they decided on this Operation T4 or Aktion T4, which were actually named after the address in which it was made, Tiergartenstraße number 4. And the letter here is on Hitler's own letterhead, and it's actually an operation that allowed doctors to decide if people were having a worthy life or they should be killed, which were the whole idea of the operation. And I actually read somewhere that it was because they needed the hospital beds for injured soldiers, so therefore they found out that this would be smart. So they found 6 places across Germany where they could start these facilities, these euthanasia centers, and one of them is Bernburg. In Bernburg, which only lasted for 2 years during the war, 9,000 people were killed. And within this program, Action T4, there were between 200,000 and 400,000 people killed by gas. And the Bernburg Mental Hospital was actually built way before. The premises was there, and it was built in 1875, and the Nazis took over a couple of the buildings there and built this euthanasia center. And here I have images of the victims, because when you are down there at the Bernburg Euthanasia Center, you can go through these historical rooms and you can see it. And when you get to the crematorium, there are images of all these victims, not all 9,000, but there are a lot of images of real people. So even if you are, I wouldn't say untouched, because I don't think that's possible, but when you get to this room with all of the images, it becomes very real that these were real people killed just for being who they were. Most of them were ill, but some of them were killed because they were gay or had another, there were Jehovah's Witnesses, there were all kind of people who were killed within this program. Now I want to tell you about how we created the model. Yeah, we did all the premises we LiDAR scanned, and I want to tell you, we just used an ordinary iPad for LiDAR scanning, and LiDAR scanning is like sending out light, receiving light, and then it creates an image of a room, and you can actually do a 3D scan of the whole room. And this is me and Mark, we had an idea how to do this, and we practiced a lot at campus. We took the iPad home and scanned our homes, and we thought we had this, we could do this, and we wanted to go there, and we had an idea, and we will do this in a couple of hours, and then we will have the whole thing scanned, and we will do it in one take. And then we changed our mind when we got there, because as you can see, we are both going with our arms up here, and a room took like an hour, and there were like 10 rooms, so we couldn't have gone there for like 10 hours in a row, but we scanned and scanned and scanned, and we got quite good scans of most of the rooms. And then we, of course, also made some challenges, because I will see if I can change the picture. This is me and Chris Hall, who is also part of the project. We had a room that was very dark, and the LiDAR scan needs some light. So we tried to have a light source in there. So Chris was walking after me, but the LiDAR scan got very confused because all the shades moved when the light moved. So we really couldn't get a good scan of that room, but that was one of the challenges we met while scanning. We also had a room with white tiles on the wall, which reflected the light in such an annoying way. But we figured it out and tried a lot of different things and found different solutions that worked. Sometimes we needed to scan really fast and just turn it on and turn it off and do that a lot. Then we had some good scans. But the LiDAR scanning went quite well. And when we get home, let's see if we can change this. Yeah. We created the model, or Chris did, in the CAD program, and we did it from scans and images and floor plans. And we took some design choices, because as in this picture, this is a very, it's not this historical room. This is mostly the exhibition. There's a lot to read and a lot of images. You go through this hallway, and when we try to scan that, you can see the pipelines in the attic. And if you scan an object with a LiDAR scanner, you need to be all the way around the object. Otherwise, there's just holes. So we couldn't scan these pipes, for instance. So therefore, we decided to take this room and just made it from floor plans and textures in the CAD program. And then there are the historical rooms. Like here we have there. This is the crematory, and as you can see, it's a little more bubbly or fluffy in the edges. But we decided that for the historical rooms, we wanted to have that because it gives some kinds of an authentic feeling. It's not like being there because nothing is, but it makes it a little bit more authentic. We also put in stuff that isn't there anymore, but that used to be there in 41, 42. For instance, we have here, this is the ovens, yes. And as you can see, they have no textures, and they are clearly put in a way so people can see that they are not real. And there's a very specific reason for doing that, because Judith, who worked down there, she told me she had an argument with some guests who had been there earlier, where they had images of the ovens, and they were kind of, well, the ovens, why have you taken them out? And she was like, they have never been here while I have been here. And she couldn't convince them that the oven has never been there. So therefore, it was very important for us that when we did something like this, putting in stuff that isn't there anymore, it should be very obvious that this is fake. Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about the educational purposes, because when we did this model, it was for giving the Bernburg premises and the memorial some extra tools to work with. And of course, we were talking a lot to them about how can they use this, but it was a kind of a in the future kind of thing, not within the assignment at first, but within the project, we want to find out how can we use this for educational purposes. And we have been talking a lot to the people down at Bernburg and to Esther. She's doing digital education in her PhD. So of course, it's obvious that this kind of a tool should be used somehow. And one thing is that we can present the memories within the space they belong. This is an image from the Memorize webpage where the model is posted. And in the middle row, what is this? Drop-down menu, you can choose a room and you will get the memories from this connecting to this room on the side next to it. Otherwise, you could choose a person or a group of labor or the victims, which is kind of live because the victims are all dead. There are no memories of victims from this place, but there are the descendants, and they have some memories they share there. So you can choose from there, and then you will get the memories to this group shown next to it. But one thing we are quite sure of is that the place down there, the memorial, they can use this tool for before and after the students comes to the memorial. They can prolong the education they get because they are taking in students down there. They are, for instance, they are having a lot of nurses talking a lot of ethics with these people, which I think is quite good. And they can still, they are learning about the action till fear. They are having a lot of testimonies from the trials after the war, and these are all persecutors. And I think this is a very good way how to explain or at least think about how did this happen, how could this happen, and what do we do to not let it happen again. So therefore, they will use this model before and after visits, and it also gives an opportunity for people who are not able to go to Bernburg for all kind of reasons. They can learn about this place as well and about the operations before. And we were also thinking about this, letting people making their own model, their own tour. But we have actually made this case study where we are creating a study material. And one of the things within this case study is that we have used the 3D model, and we have given the students 2 biographies, one from a persecutor and one about a victim, Dr. Bunge and Israel. And we are giving them a manual of how to download the model from the Memorize page, how to make a Sketchfab user, and how to upload the model, how to create a guided tour from the info they get from these 2 biographies and the background on T4. And that's just sent out, and we are hoping to get some feedback from that very soon. And future dreams, we want to, of course, have some feedback from the case study we just made. And I really want to go to Bernburg and talk to students and get the feedback from them, because very often, if you use the tool and don't know what the possibilities are, you will get much more ideas of what can be done. I think that goes for everything almost, that people are not limited by what can be done, have better ideas. So that would be nice. And then, of course, we would like to export the model idea to more memorials. So, and the same for the educational part. So that's what we are dreaming on doing. I think that's it for me. Any questions?